Today we will be talking about the physical expression of genes among various ethnicities. Ethnicity, although mainly mentioned in social sciences, has much to do with biological science, specifically genetics. As Darwin and other biologists have discovered, environmental origins and biological ancestry affect the physical expressions of genes in different groups of people. The three most prominent differences between different ethnicities are skin color, hair type, and facial features. There are many different skin tones recognized across the globe, and the shade of each skin tone follows a pattern. The closer to the equator one's ancestor lived, the darker their skin tone is. It is important to note that the Earth is not directly upright when revolving around the Sun, but its axis is tilted 23.5 degrees from the plane of its orbit. The reason people with darker skin tones originate near the equator is because their skin is adapted to the harsh rays of sunlight the region receives, which can be supported by Darwin's theory of adaptation and natural selection. People with darker skin tones have a greater melanin production inside the basal layer of the epidermis found in the skin, which allows them to survive under the large amount of UV radiation. As you travel farther north from the equator, the skin tone pattern becomes more recognizable. Student researchers and other scientific institutions in Japan concluded that the Japanese and Chinese population have larger body hair fibers than Africans and Europeans. It is inferred that East Asians have thicker hair because it is more beneficial against cold climates in that region. Hair thickness and style regarding hair on the head is dependent on the size and shape of the hair follicles. A specific example of hair type pertaining to a certain ethnic group is the coarse, curly/coiled hair and dry hair that Africans have. African hair is proven to be coarse because of the large amount of sebum protective oil that is produced, allowing individual hair strands to have a larger shape or volume. Different hair types can be seen in various ethnic populations scattered across the globe. Differences in facial features are noticeable between people of different ethnicities or races. The NIOSH surveyed participants from 4 racial groups to determine the face shape and size differences. One facial feature the scientists examined was the nose. The scientists concluded that African Americans have shorter, wider, and shallower noses than Caucasians. Arthur Thompson, a British anthropologist, inferred that people with ancestors who lived in cold, arid climates have longer, thinner noses, while those with ancestors who came from more humid regions have shorter, thicker noses. An important job of the nose is to warm and humidify air inhaled through the nostrils. This way, people in colder climates with narrow noses are able to breathe in very little air at once, while people in warmer climates with wide noses are able to breathe in more air at once. And many scientists have concluded that these differences in physical traits arose from changes in climate and breeding between different races. While most people of the same ethnicity have similar characteristics, it is possible for genetic mutations to occur. However, a majority of the global population's genes are physically expressed in ways that are dependent on their environmental origins and ancestral biology.